Welcome to our online celebration of the Anglo-Indian Day. This is a special day dedicated to recognizing and celebrating the rich cultural heritage and the contributions of the Anglo-Indian community. As we come together in this virtual space, I extend a warm welcome to everyone, young and old, from all the corners of the world. Whether you're here to reconnect with your roots, learn more about the Anglo-Indian culture, or simply just here to enjoy the festivities, I am delighted to have you join us. So, let's celebrate with joy, unity, and a sense of pride in our unique heritage. So, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy the events, engage with the community, and let's make long-lasting memories.
Let us bow our heads in prayer. Our most gracious and heavenly Father, as we gather today to celebrate the World Anglo-Indian Day with grateful hearts, we thank you for our rich heritage and vibrant community. We lift up our President-in-Chief, Mr. Barry O'Brien, and all office bearers and committee members of our association. Grant them the wisdom and strength as they lead us with dedication and grace. Bless all branch presidents and their teams as they serve their communities with integrity. Lord, we pray for all members of the All India Anglo-Indian Association, and especially for the All India Anglo-Indian Association youth and the youth of our country. Guide them in their journey, instilling in them values of faith, love, and responsibility. Bless today's program and the days ahead of us, that we may move forward in unity and joy. May Jesus Christ be our constant guide and source of strength. This we ask in the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
In 2001, at the 5th Anglo-Indian World Reunion in Auckland, George Henderson proposed that a day be set aside to celebrate our Anglo-Indian heritage, culture, and history. The International Federation of the Anglo-Indian Associations decided to do exactly that. History scholar Andy O'Brien, formerly of Calcutta, now of Perth, suggested the 2nd of August as Anglo-Indian Day. The date of the community was officially recognized and, in a sense, legally born. Since 2002, Anglo-Indian Day is celebrated in a meaningful way in India and across the world. Now one would wonder, why 2nd of August? Well, the Government of India Act of 1935 clearly defines who an Anglo-Indian is. The Act received royal assent on 2nd of August 1935 and gave this rootless community some stability and protection, a new lease of life. In fact, it provided a springboard from which Anglo-Indians could potentially take off into new directions with new hopes and aspirations. Renelle Rosemere, a member of the Agra branch and former vice president of the All India Anglo-Indian Association Youth, my predecessor. Belonging to a wonderful family of teachers, Renelle herself is an excellent English teacher, teaching standards 9 to 12 in the School of Convent of Jesus and Mary and St. Anthony's Junior College. She's but of course dearly loved by her students. Today, she introduces us to two courageous women. One, a tennis star, Jenny Sanderson, and Sister Helen Rodrigues. So, ladies and gentlemen, please sit back and absorb.
Jenny Sanderson's is an incredible story. From her railway colony home in Kharagpur to the green grass of Wimbledon. Born in 1910, she is till date one of the only 4 Anglo-Indians to have played tennis at the international level. Having dominated Indian tennis, she won over 20 singles titles in tournaments in the country. This simple up-country girl decided to try her luck on the biggest stage in London. In 1929, she became the first Indian woman to play in the All England Championships at Wimbledon. Though she didn't get very far at the international level, she once beat Betty Natal, the reigning British champion and one of the top 5 players in the world. But the bigger story within the story is that she had to earn to fund her stay while playing tournaments in England. The go-getter daughter of an Anglo-Indian railwayman, Jenny worked as a typist between tournaments to support herself in 1929 and 1930. On 4th October 1930, she boarded the Marlborough and sailed back to India and never travelled overseas to play in a tournament again. Let's take a look at this simple, sweet, up-country girl slogging it out at an office in the UK to fund her stay and play tennis tournaments. Come friends, let's salute the spirit of the Anglo-Indian woman who pioneered the movement for the emancipation of women in India, not via activism and protests, but by sheer determination to go out and work. That and the courage of her conviction. She was the lady with the lamp who showed the way to the women of India. And unlike most others, she had the support of her family, not their permission. She didn't need that. Hardworking and efficient, she fought the big fight against vicious stereotyping and changed people's perspectives of the working woman, their closed mindsets, and she laid the foundation for women in India, in the metros and smaller cities like the one I call home, Agra, to step out, stand up, and be counted. Here's to Jenny Sanderson and thousands of Jenny Sandersons who remain unheralded and unknown. Helen Rodrigues is the only woman of Indian origin to be awarded the prestigious King George Medal for civilian gallantry. When the prisoners of war Tonji Civil Hospital in Burma was bombed by the Japanese in April 1942, Sister Rodrigues worked bravely to take care of the approximately 400 wounded Indian soldiers, for which she was later interrogated as a suspected spy and tortured by the Chinese and the Japanese. She wrote of her experiences in a book titled Helen of Burma, the autobiography of a wartime nurse. Few nursing services in the world could match the contribution of Sister Rodrigues, who symbolized the courage of Anglo-Indian women on so many battlefields, sites of railway accidents and natural disasters, hospitals and critical care units. The citation she received from King George VI read, "When Tonji was attacked by 2 waves of Japanese bombers, Rodrigues displayed the utmost courage and devotion to duty. In the absence of stretcher bearers, Sister Rodrigues carried patients on her back to places of safety. While performing this heroic task, she was bombed and machine gunned. She returned to the civil hospital and herself performed many operations, remaining on duty with practically no sleep for 4 days and nights. Her courage, initiative, and complete disregard of her own safety were in the highest traditions of nursing service. We salute Helen Rodriguez and the thousands of Anglo-Indian nurses, both civilian and in the armed forces, who served their patients, hospitals and their country India selflessly, courageously and consistently.
Alexis Rosario, daughter of Dennis and Stephanie Rosario, members of the Calcutta branch, will now recite a poem titled Make Room for the Elephant by the legendary Anglo-Indian writer Ruskin Bond. Alexis, or Ali as she is fondly called, a student of the Frank Anthony Public School. She is the mascot of the Calcutta branch since she never misses an association event. And she is all 5 years old. Sit back and enjoy.
Make Room for Elephants by Ruskin Bond. I know the world is a crowded place and elephants don't take up space. But if it makes a difference in a herd, I'm gladly to say my board. A baby elephant will do. If his mother comes too, then that's garage. He wouldn't mind. To elephants, he's more than kind. But I wonder what my mother will say if the elephant's father also came to stay. Thank you.
Valerie Rachel Moraes, a member of the Mumbai branch and the AIAIAY's proud First Lady. Being the wife of yours truly, Valerie is a dynamic and dedicated teacher at Christ Church School, Mumbai, teaching Standard 5 to Standard 10 English and History. Today, she introduces us to Nancy Moreno, an incredible teacher who lived a century ago and a legendary singer of Bombay and Bykla's very own Tony Brent. Sit back and have a look.
Let me now tell you about a truly courageous woman and an incredible educator. Her name was Nancy Moreno. She lived in Chittagong, which was then in Bengal. It is now in Bangladesh. Nancy Moreno, a young teacher at the time, was appointed the headmistress of the local Gul-e-Zar Begum School for Muslim girls in 1939. On her young shoulders had fallen the responsibility of raising it to a high school and motivating her staff and the young girls from conservative Muslim families to first enroll and then attend school, not a very common thing to do back then, and complete their school education. Being the granddaughter of a police officer, A.J. Moreno, Inspector General of Police Bengal, she was determined to make it happen. And she did. Though very little is known about her, just this information in Mr. Barry O'Brien's book on the Anglo-Indian community was enough to catch my eye and motivate me as a young teacher. Come, fellow teachers, let the spirit, legacy, courage and determination of Nancy Moreno inspire us to touch lives and educate every child in our country, with a special focus on the girl child. Singer Tony Brent, born Reginald Hogan, Britannia, in 1927, was a Bombay lad, Reg to his friends. He moved to the UK with his wife Noreen Crawford. In 1949, she persuaded him to participate in a talent show, after which there was no looking back. He auditioned with the Burt Ambrose Band and earned a contract with Columbia Records. In 1951, he joined the BBC show band, scored 7 top 20 hits in the UK, which included Walk Into Missouri, Cindy Oh Cindy, and Dark Moon. He finally immigrated to Australia in 1961. A good chef, he went on to own a chain of Indian food restaurants. Tony Brent went from Baikala to Broadway, but never forgot his roots. Well after he became an international celebrity with 7 top 20 chart hits, he volunteered to come home and help raise funds. He suggested to his Anglo-Indian pals, why not have a couple of shows to raise money for the education fund of the Bombay branch of the association. Buddha Brown, the president of the branch, grabbed the offer, and on the 11th and 12th of March 1959, they presented, by kind courtesy of the Time and Talents Club and Murphy Radio, the Tony Brent Show at Metro Cinema. The show was a runway success, as Tony delighted the crowd with his gags, his repertoire, showmanship, and of course his singing. The gracious hosts also thanked Hal and his boys and Ken Mack and his band for their top-class music, and Ivy DaCosta and her charming pupils who sold programs. They raised an impressive 8,000 rupees and felt that success had by no means gone to his head, as Tony saw any and everybody who wanted to see him, and autograph books galore, brought mostly by starry-eyed girls, all for a good cause, for the education of our children from disadvantaged families. The boy from Ibrahim Terrace on Spence Road, he loved India so much that despite having lived in 3 other continents, after he passed away in 1993, his ashes were brought back home and scattered in the Ganga. What a story.
Jaden Byford, a member of the Bangalore branch, is the son of Evelyn and Suzette Byford. A student at St. John's High School, Bangalore, he scored 85.2% in the ICAC examination this year. It's now time for this 16-year-old, Jaden, to bowl you over and rattle you up with a suave rendition of Shake, Rattle and Rock. So get ready, folks, to do just that. Shake, rattle and rock.
Get out of that kitchen and rattle those pots and pans. Get out of that kitchen and rattle those pots and pans. Well, roll my breakfast, 'cause I'm a hungry man. I said shake, rattle and roll. 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 Well, you'll never do nothing to save your doggone soul. Who wearing those dresses with your hair done up so nice? Wearing those dresses with your hair done up so nice. You look so warm, but your heart is cold as ice. I said shake, rattle and roll. 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 Well, you'll never do nothing to save your doggone soul. I'm like a one-eyed cat peeping in a seafood store. I'm like a one-eyed cat peeping in a seafood store. I can look at you and tell you don't love me no more. I believe you're doing me wrong, and now I know why. I believe you're doing me wrong, now I know why. The more I work, the faster my money go by. I said shake, rattle and roll. 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 Well, you'll never do nothing to save your doggone soul. Shake, rattle and roll.
Darren Hopkins, a member of the Lucknow branch, the son of Warren and Fiona Hopkins. He's currently a third-year student at the Lucknow University, pursuing a bachelor's degree in business administration. Besides being a freelance digital marketer and a copywriter, well, that's quite a lot. Darren will now give us a peep into the lives of two outstanding mavericks, the classical Urdu poet Benjamin Montrose, followed by Cecil Dawes, a top-class commercial cartoonist and a soldier with an unputdownable spirit.
An artist, photographer, and poet, Benjamin Mustar Montrose lived from 1855 till 1931. He travelled extensively across India, painting portraits of numerous rulers who paid him handsomely. One of his most famous paintings was of Edward VIII on an opal. He also painted screens for the Choral Theatre stage in Allahabad. He learned Urdu and the art of poetry from Ustad Dagdelvi, a contemporary of Mirza Ghalib, who he admired greatly, paying tribute to him often in his maktas. A makta is the last sher in a ghazal. He assumed the nom de plume Mustar, meaning anxious. He wrote prolifically, including the Razi Hakikat, a masnavi in Urdu of the Last Supper of Jesus Christ in verse. He is accepted as the Alexander Pope of Urdu and is known for his wit, biting satire, and sophisticated verse. He wrote English poetry with equal elegance. His works were published in 2 volumes, one on the First World War and the other titled Spiritual and Temporal Poems. Over the years, there were other Anglo-Indians too who excelled in Urdu, Hindi, Tamil, and other languages, but they were few in number. Most members of our community struggled even speaking these languages, let alone writing and excelling in them. But over the last 3 or 4 decades, all that has changed. Of course, we speak our mother tongue English fluently, but I'm proud to say that all 4 members of my immediate family speak Hindi fluently, studied with many an Urdu phrase here in Lucknow. And this holds true for most Anglo-Indians across the country, be it Malayalam in Kerala, Tamil in Tamil Nadu, Telugu in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, and so on. More and more Anglo-Indians today are confidently bilingual and even trilingual, with many of us scoring high marks in vernacular papers in examinations, something we are very proud of. Bye for now, alvida, shaba khair, aap sabko mera salam. Though Cecil Dawes, who lived from 1906 to 1971, was a soldier, he was lauded as India's finest commercial cartoonist after World War II. He's credited with designing the Courage is Destiny logo of the Frank Anthony Public Schools. The statesman hailed him as the cartoonist who revolutionized classified advertisements. He had a terrific sense of humor, this even though he faced the might of General Rommel in Basra during the Second World War, where he suffered severe bayonet wounds, besides contracting the infamous desert cough, which did not allow him to sleep again on a bed. The chair was his bed till his last day. An alumnus of Lawrence School, Lovedale, he died a proud man and often reminisced about the war and how they were given a pure mug of rum before they fixed their bayonets and charged into hand combat while singing God Save the Queen. As Anglo-Indians, we have to cling to our love for life and our sense of humor. It's part of our DNA. Only now it's while proudly singing Jan Gan Man. Let's raise our glasses to our beloved India, to our love for life and our sense of humor. Cheers.
Matthew Vanbo of the Bangalore branch is the elder son of Tulika, a 24/7 go-getter mother, and Clive, a super busy corporate honcho outdoors dad, youth mentor, governing body member of our association, and a dear friend. A class 7 student of Frank Anthony Public School, Matthew loves fishing and the outdoors, football, and is an avid reader, encyclopedia and sci-fi browser. And he admits that he's a science nerd. And though he's not yet 12, he proudly claims his Anglo-Indian heritage among his peers. Matthew will now recite a poem titled Is Uncle Willie Silly? By Anglo-Indian author Barry O'Brien.
I am Matthew Vanberg from Bangalore and I will be reciting the poem Is Uncle Willie Silly? By Barry O'Brien. I would like you to meet my old Uncle Willie. He's tall, he's thin, and he pretends to be silly. He carries an umbrella, though the weather is fine, and opens it when he's at the restaurant and when he's ready to dine. I would like you to meet my old Uncle Willie. He can row a boat sideways and sit backwards on a filly. He walks on his hands, though he has his 2 feet. He moves his ears to the music and keeps the right beat. I would like you to meet my old Uncle Willie. He's got a little beard and he calls it his Billy. It doesn't really matter whether it's India or France. He whistles Chinese songs and does an Arabian dance. But if you really get to know my old Uncle Willie, you will find he is clever and not at all silly. He loves to laugh and make others laugh too. Life's moments of happiness, he says, are so few. Thank you.
Ria Eleanor Ryan of the Wepri branch is currently pursuing her law degree at Christ University, Lavasa. Ria is a member of the university's debate, literary and oratory teams, among being in other committees. She's also an avid sports person, being a player in the university's football team and table tennis team. Ria will now introduce us to a lawyer and leader extraordinaire, Charles Campanay, followed by Ernest Gutsa Cullen, an Olympic gold medalist who studied medicine in Madras, now Chennai, Ria's hometown.
As a law student myself, I would like to share the story of a very successful lawyer who lived in the first half of the 20th century. His name was Charles Haswell Campagnac, a barrister and politician in Rangoon, then in Burma, now Myanmar. He was invited to represent the Anglo-Indian community at the Burma Roundtable Conference of 1931. The Government of Burma Act of 1935 separated Burma from India with effect from 1st April 1937. The domiciled Anglo-Indians and the ethnic Anglo-Indians were collectively designated as Anglo-Burmans post the Act. It was Campagnac who played a stellar role in ensuring that the Act was passed. He strategically sought this so that the community would continue to be recognized as a minority in the newly created region. He was the leader of the Anglo-Burman Union. Like Sir Henry Gidney's efforts in India, he tried to secure similar legal and political rights for the Anglo-Burmans. He was also very keen on colonization or en masse emigration. In fact, he made an appeal to the British for emigration to the UK, Australia or New Zealand, or for a colony in the Shan state in present-day Myanmar, or with the consent of the Indian government for them to be included among those being accommodated in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Unfortunately, in 1941, during World War II, the Japanese attacked Burma and targeted people of mixed race. Thousands, including many Anglo-Indians, made the long walk to India. Among them was Campagnac, who was evacuated to Bangalore. His memoirs are titled The Autobiography of a Wanderer in England and Burma. Ernest Gutsa Cullen, who lived between 1912 and 1993, was a hockey Olympian, doctor and an officer in the army. He was a halfback in the gold medal winning Indian team at the 1936 Olympics. Ernest Gutsa Cullen qualified as a doctor in Madras, now Chennai, the city I call home. He went on to serve as an officer in the Indian Army Medical Corps during World War II. He was posted in Iraq and Palestine on active service. In 1947, he moved to Northern Ireland and had to qualify himself once again as a doctor. He was selected to represent Ireland at the 1952 Olympics, but had to forego the unique distinction of representing two different countries at the Olympics since the dates coincided with his final examinations. On one hand, talented people like Ernest Goodsir Cullen sent out a clear message that you can excel in more than one field, and on the other, that in life, sometimes we have two great options in front of us, and we have to choose what suits us best.
Members of the Asansol branch. Elder brother Vernon is a teacher, poet, actor, and singer-songwriter in Mumbai. Younger brother Wendell is a class 12 student in St. Patrick's School, Asansol, and a major fitness enthusiast. They are the sons of Jean D'Souza, a teacher in Assembly of God Church School, and Nigel D'Souza, the principal of St. Patrick's School, Asansol. And these brothers, they can sing, believe me. Here's a first-hand proof of that in a duet of a John Schneider song, What's a Memory Like You, Doing in a Love Like This, by the D'Souza brothers of Asansol.
You know you shouldn't be here. What am I supposed to do? Don't you know I found a new love, and I'm trying to be true. Didn't you say we were over? Why do you keep hanging on? You're no longer welcome. Can't you just leave us alone? What's a memory like you, doing in a love like this? You said we were all through, but that's not the way it is. When I hold her in my arms, it's your lips that I still kiss. What's a memory like you, doing in a love like this? Don't you know it would hurt her to find you here with me? Now why make me remember the way we used to be? Can't you see that she can love me the way you never could? And I really wanna love her. Ain't a time you left for good. What's a memory like you, doing in love like this? Now you said we were all through. Well, that's not the way it is. When I hold her in my arms, it's your lips that I still kiss. What's a memory like you, doing in a love like this? What's a memory like you, doing in a love like this?
Celine Dominica Littlewood. She's presently working as a teacher in the middle school in the Bishop School Camp, Pune. She's completed her BA, MA, B.Ed and is now currently pursuing her M.Ed. She's the dynamic president of the Anglo-Indian Youth Committee of the Pune branch. Celine will now be talking to us about the exciting lives of two incredible achievers, path-breaking engineer Harry Muller-Knox and Clyde Cooper, arguably the most successful Anglo-Indian in the field of business in modern India.
Harry Muller-Knox lived in the first half of the 20th century. An engineer, he worked his way up to become Chief Electrical Engineer of the Great Indian Peninsula Railway. In 1929, he successfully completed electrification of the railway line between Igatpuri and Pune, now known as Pune, my hometown. He also created devices which were put to use by the railways and the army, and was sent to England to assist the military in developing mine detectors and improve mine-sweeping equipment during World War II, for which he was awarded an OBE. He went on to represent the community in the Bombay Legislative Assembly. Mr. V. Anand, who retired as General Manager of the Southern Railways, after 40 years of service, paid this rich tribute to the community's priceless contribution to the railways in India. I quote, "The Anglo-Indians undoubtedly made the Indian Railways what it is now. Their contribution to the development of the Indian Railways was immense." Unquote. In the first century of its existence, if there was one community that dominated the Indian Railways in number and output, it was the Anglo-Indians. In the second half of the 19th century, they played a key role in building it, and in the first half of the 20th century, the leading role in running it. Truth be told, the blood, sweat, and toil of at least a few members of almost every Anglo-Indian family was invested in the Indian Railways. You, me, and every Indian owes a debt of gratitude to Harry Muller-Knox. And thousands of drivers, guards, engineers, TTEs, station masters, PWIs, and others who built and ran the Indian Railways, an organization that connected the people of India, even united them like never before. Today is the day to remember them with reverence and gratitude. Perhaps the biggest success story of an Anglo-Indian in business in the modern era was that of Clyde Cooper, who co-founded Blue Dart Express in 1983. Clyde Cooper of Bombay was active for about 3 decades, from the 1980s onwards. He was the co-founder and managing director of Blue Dart Express Limited, the Indian logistics company providing courier delivery services. Set up in 1983 in Bombay, it expanded in 2002, creating a cargo airline, Blue Dart Aviation. DHL Express became a major shareholder in the company in 2004 by investing 120 million rupees in it. In 2006, Cooper stepped down as MD but continued as a director till 2015. His colleagues who worked with him to make the company the market leader recall how he slept for barely 2 hours a day in the early years. Cooper is leading a retired life of leisure, probably in Australia, catching up on some sleep. He sure has earned it. I know many of my friends in the corporate world have been greatly influenced by the true fairy tale of Clyde Cooper. And I hope it continues to inspire many more who have plunged into the corporate career. Let's wish them and every young Anglo Indian today the best of luck as they reach for the sky in modern India.
Shelley Ellis, the daughter of Marlon and Sandra Ellis of the Patna branch, has recently joined the Radio Mirchi in Bangalore, where she does voiceovers, digital and content writing, as well as sings jingles. An exceptionally good vocalist, her best duets were with her favorite singer, her grandfather, Papa Tony. Here is a duet by Sandra and her Papa Tony. Though he's physically not with her, I'm sure he's watching over her and showering his blessings on her every minute of every single day.
Good afternoon, everyone. Your grandfather and granddaughter duo is back at it again, and today we are coming with a very special song called Storms Never Last. I hope you enjoy it. Storms never last, do they, baby? Bad times all pass with the wind. Your hand in mine stills the thunder, and you make the sun want to shine. I follow you down so many roads, baby. I passed by flowers and sung you some sad songs. And every road we took, God knows, our search was for the truth. And the clouds growing now won't be yours. Storms never last, do they, baby? Bad times all pass with the wind. Your hand in mine steals the thunder, and you make the sun want to shine. Storms never last, do they, baby? Bad times all pass with the wind. Your hand in mine stills the thunder, and you make the sun want to shine. Storms never last, do they, baby? Bad times all pass with the wind. Your hand in mine stills the thunder, and you make the sun want to shine. Oh, you make the sun want to shine.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time. Time for the President-in-Chief to speak. So let me invite our dear President-in-Chief, Mr. Barry O'Brien, to deliver his Anglo-Indian Day address.
Dear members of the All India Anglo-Indian Association, the 63 branches across the country, other Anglo-Indians living in India and across the diaspora, and our dear friends and well-wishers of other communities who always like to stay close to our community. I wish all of you, on behalf of the governing body of the All India Anglo-Indian Association, happy Anglo-Indian Day, which was actually on the 2nd of August, but we decided to celebrate it today online so that we could reach many more people, being a Sunday. Every Anglo-Indian Day, I try and give a message. Last year, I spoke about how our women, Anglo-Indian women, had contributed greatly to, actually, they're the pioneers of the emancipation movement for women in India. And of course, it's still going on, and there are many battles still to be won in many, many corners or even big cities in India. But the whole movement was started by the Anglo-Indian woman stepping out confidently to pursue a career or to live her life on her terms. This year, I would like to focus on the contribution that the community has made by ensuring that its language, its mother tongue, is very much a part of modern India. It's a very controversial topic, or was a controversial topic some years ago. And in the 1950s and 60s, there were many battles that had to be won by the great leader of our community at the time, Mr. Frank Anthony. He had to fight many battles in court, and fortunately he won all of them in the high courts and in the Supreme Court. Many state governments and universities and even educational institutions were sort of making it difficult for the English language to be taught to those who were not Anglo-Indians. And Mr. Anthony fought it out, and fortunately, because of his efforts, the Anglo-Indian schools exist today and are doing such a wonderful job of educating children of all communities across the country. And besides that, there would not have been no Anglo-Indian schools, there would not have been any English medium schools, non-Anglo-Indian English medium schools even in the country, had Mr. Anthony lost any of those cases. That is something of the past. And then for many years, even as recently as when I was MLA in the state of West Bengal, 20 years ago, I had, to hear a lot in and outside the assembly from various parties about the English language being a leftover of the English, and the British had gone, and why didn't they take their language with them? And those same politicians would sometimes catch me outside over a cup of tea and whisper into my ear that could I help them get their grandchild into an Anglo-Indian English medium school. The same people who would in public criticize the fact that there were these wonderful schools of ours. That's the reality of life, friends. I'm very happy to tell you that it seems that now, politics apart, the people of India have embraced the English language that is spoken by Anglo-Indians. That's the English language that is the English language of modern India. Not the English turn of phrase, or let's call it dialects, or let's call it the way the British spoke their English. That's quite different. The way many, many Indians, millions of Indians, I was watching the Olympics, and many of our young Olympians, many of them don't speak English, that's fine, but many of them speak exactly like many other Indians, and that they have not all been to Anglo-Indian schools, they have been to English medium schools. Many of them have been to Anglo-Indian schools too. So what I'm basically trying to say is that today English is no longer a foreign language, friends. It is my mother tongue. I am an Indian. I am an Anglo-Indian. And Anglo-Indians are, it's a community that is very Indian. It's an Anglo-Indian is an Indian community. So my mother tongue is also an Indian language. Besides, of course, there are states like Meghalaya and Nagaland where it's officially the first language. Besides that, it's no longer to be considered and should not be considered. Erase it from your mind if you think it's a hangover of the British Raj. No. The English that is spoken by modern Indians today, or Indians in modern India, is the English that they have learned and are very grateful to what they have learned besides the language, the values and other things in the wonderful Anglo-Indian schools across the country over the last 100, 200 years. But also the non-Anglo-Indian English medium schools who are teaching in English. And these are not just private schools. The good news is, since the masses want it, it's not just people who are very affluent or elite, belong to elite society, they want to teach their children English. No. The masses of India, friends, across the board, and I'm not just talking about South India or Eastern India or Northeastern India, where English has always been a very prominent language. I'm even speaking about the West, and definitely about what we call the Hindi heartland. States like Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, not just private schools. I travel a lot. I write school books for a living, and therefore I have to promote my school books. And 30 years ago, I wasn't going deep into the Hindi heartland because my books are all written in English. But in the last 10, 15 years, I've been going deep into Eastern and Western Uttar Pradesh, because not just private schools, the state governments are also starting their English medium schools. In fact, they've actually, I read an article where they were quoted saying that we also want to compete with the other schools, and that's what the people want. So this is something that I wanted to share with you, that what the great C. Rajagopalachari said many years ago. He called English a gift to India from the goddess Saraswati, not from the British. So while I agree with that, but I would also like to add that the English that we read, write, and speak today is a contribution and a gift of the Anglo-Indian community. So I feel we as Indians should be conscious of that and should be grateful to the Anglo-Indian community. And we as the Anglo-Indian community are very grateful to the rest of India for not just embracing our language, but embracing us over all these 7 decades and more. And we're so happy that today, Anglo-Indians like me and my children, we do not have a mental block about learning other languages. 40 or 50 years ago even, Anglo-Indians struggled and basically knew only their own language. Today, I'm happy to tell you that our generation and the next generation read, write, and speak at least 2 languages, English and 1 more language, fluently, and many are trilingual. Many are even topping their classes in Hindi or Tamil or Malayalam or Telugu, Bengali. So I think it's wonderful that we in India, we need to embrace more languages. I always tell people of my community, and I'm telling them now, if you don't know a second or a third language, at least to speak it very fluently, and you should at least know to read and write 1 more language, then you're not actually a true Indian in that sense, or not really equipped to sort of do really well in modern India or anywhere in the world. So I'll leave you with that thought, that English today is very much an Indian language. English is, in a very humble way I say it, a gift of the Anglo-Indian community, because the dialect or the turn of phrase and the way we speak is what we got from our, or you got from your Anglo-Indian teachers or in your Anglo-Indian schools, and now many of them are in non-Anglo-Indian English medium schools. We would like to take the credit for that. That is the Anglo-Indian school system and this great language, which is very much an Indian language. I leave you with that thought today as we celebrate Anglo-Indian Day. We celebrate the uniqueness of our community, where we love speaking our own language, doing our own thing, eating our own food, singing our own songs, and yet we love every moment that we spend with people belonging to other communities and being a part of their life and their culture. I believe that India, going by the Constitution definition and going by the spirit of what India stands for, is all to do with knowing your own, respecting your own, loving your own, and knowing what is not your own, loving what is not your own, and respecting what is not your own. Thank you for listening. God bless you. Jai Hind. Take care.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I now invite two top-class singers, Vernon D'Souza of the Agra branch and Keith Dixon of the Delhi branch, who will sing super numbers by Anglo-Indian singers Engelbert Humperdinck and Tony Brent, besides a number by many of Anglo-Indians' favorite singer, Jim Reeves. So, stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
A very good evening to everyone. I'm Vernon D'Souza from the Agra branch. I'll be singing for you a Jim Reeves number. I'm calling to tell you it's over. Yes, darling, you're now free to go. You're saying you're sorry you hurt me, but you hurt me much more than you know. You're asking me where this call comes from. Oh, I hope that you won't end up here. If your new romance turns out a failure, here's where you find me, my dear. I'm just on the blue side of lonesome, right next to the Heartbreak Hotel, in a town that's known as Three Teardrops, on a bus to not doing so well. The floor has a carpet of sorrow, yet no one can weep in the eye. And they say someone broke the bar mirror with only the ghost of a smile. The hands on the clock never alter, for things never change in this place. There's no present, no past, no future. We're the ones who have lost in love's race. I'm just
on the blue side of lonesome, right next to the Heartbreak Hotel, in a town that's known as Three Teardrops, on a bus to not doing so well. Thank you.
Cindy, oh Cindy, Cindy, don't let me down. Write me a letter soon, and I'll be homeward bound. I joined the Navy to see the world. Nowhere could I find a girl as sweet as Cindy, girl I left behind. I've searched the wide world over, can't get her out of my mind. Cindy, oh Cindy, Cindy, don't let me down. Write me a letter soon, and I'll be homeward bound. I see her face on every wave, her lips kiss every breeze, her loving arms reach out to me through calm and stormy sea. At night I face the lonely day, the rest my memory. Cindy, oh Cindy, Cindy, don't let me down. Write me a letter soon, and I'll be homeward bound. I know my Cindy's waiting for me as I walk the decks alone. Her loving arms reach out to me. Soon I'll be heading home. Then my sailing days will be over. No more will I roam. Cindy, oh Cindy, Cindy, don't let me down. Write me a letter soon, and I'll be homeward bound. And I'll be homeward bound. You talk like Marlon Dietrich, and you dance like Zizi Jeanmaire. Your clothes are all made by Balmain, and there's diamonds and pearls in your hair. Yes, they are. You live in a fancy apartment off the boulevard of Saint-Michel, where you keep your Rolling Stone records and a friend of Sacha Distel. Yes, you do. But where do you go to, my lovely, when you're alone in your bed? Tell me the thoughts that surround you. I want to look inside your head. Yes, I do. I've seen all your qualifications,
you got from the Sorbonne, and the painting you stole from Picasso. Your loveliness goes on and on, yes it does. When you go on your summer vacation, you go to Saint-Jean-de-Pere with your carefully designed topless swimsuit. You get an even suntan on your back and on your legs. And when the snow falls, you're found in Saint Norte with the others of the jet set. And you sip on your Napoleon brandy, but you never get your lips wet, no you don't. But where do you go to, my lovely, when you're alone in your bed? Won't you tell me the thoughts that surround you? I want to look inside your head, yes I do. Your name, it is heard in high places. You know the other car, he sent you a horse for Christmas, and you kept it just for fun, for a laugh. They say that when you get married, it'll be to a millionaire, but they don't realize where you come from. And I wonder if they really care or give a damn. Where do you go to, my lovely, when you're alone in your bed? Tell me the thoughts that surround you. I want to look inside your head, yes I do. I remember the back streets of Naples, children begging in rags, both touched with a burning ambition, shake off their lonely born tags, so they cry. So look into my face, Monty Claire, and remember just who you are. Let go and forget me forever, but I know you still bear the scars inside, yes you do. I know where you go to, my lovely, when you're alone in your bed. I know the thoughts that surround you, 'cause I can look inside your head. Spanish eyes, teardrops are falling from your Spanish eyes. Please, please don't cry. This is just adios and not goodbye. I'll return, bringing you all the love your heart can hold. Please say, say you and your Spanish eyes will wait for me. Spanish eyes, prettiest eyes in all of Mexico. True, I go. Soon I'll return, bringing you all the love your heart can hold. Please say, say you and your Spanish eye will wait for me. Say you and your Spanish eye will wait for me. La 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 la. Say you and your Spanish eye will wait for me. Please release me, let me go. For I don't love you anymore. To waste our lives would be a sin. Please release me and let me love again. I have found a new love, dear, and I will always want her near. Her lips are warm while yours are cold. Please release me, my darling, let me go. Please release me, let me go. For I don't love you anymore. To waste our lives would be a sin. Please release me and let me love again. Please release me, can't you see? You'd be a fool to cling to me. To live a lie would bring us pain. So release me and let me love again. Let me go.
Good evening, esteemed guests, fellow Anglo-Indians and my dear friends. I would like to begin by offering our heartfelt gratitude to the Almighty for blessing us with the opportunity to come together and celebrate our rich heritage. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Mr. Barry O'Brien, the President and Chief of the All India Anglo-Indian Association, for his unwavering support and guidance. His invaluable contributions have been instrumental in making this event a grand success. We have learned about the achievements of many Anglo-Indians as described in his book, The Anglo-Indians, A Portrait of a Community. I would also like to express my deep appreciation to Mr. Somnath Dasgupta for his tireless efforts and assistance in bringing this program to fruition. I would like to extend my gratitude to Malcolm Lavakar, the President of the All India Anglo-Indian Association Youth, for being the driving force behind this event. His meticulous planning and leadership has certainly motivated the team to work harder and execute this event well. I would also further like to appreciate Malcolm for designing the posters beautifully, which have added just a little bit of elegance to this event. A special thank you to Reverend Shane Grove for his soulful opening prayer, which set a spiritual tone for the event. To Renel, Alexis, Valerie, Jaden, Darren, Matthew, Ria, Vernon, Wendell, Celine, Vernon, Keith, and Shelley. Your exceptional contributions have made this event truly memorable. Your talents and passion have shown through, and we are deeply grateful for your participation. I would also like to thank the entire All India Anglo-Indian Association youth team for their hard work and dedication in organizing this event. I would also like to thank Mr. Clive Van Burl, our youth mentor, for always being there for us. He is also a governing body member of the All India Anglo-Indian Association. Last but not the least, I would like to thank each and every one of you who have taken time out of your day to come and attend this program, to be with us as we celebrate our heritage. We really hope that you have enjoyed what we have put forth for you. Thank you.
Tell me, when will you be mine? Tell me quando we can share a love divine. Please don't make me wait again. When will you say yes to me? Tell me quando you mean happiness to me. Oh my love, please tell me when. Every moment today, every day seems a lifetime. Let me show you the way to a joy beyond compare. I could wait a moment more. Tell me quando say it's me that you adore. And then darling, tell me when. Every moment's a day. Every day seems a lifetime. Let me show you the way to a joy beyond compare. I could wait a moment more. Tell me quando say it's me that you adore. And then darling, tell me when. tell me